guys, let's make a scrapbooking page together. Today I'm going to be working on my 2023 Project Life Week 33 page. And so first thing I'm going to do is pull in some of my favorite photos. This was actually my kids going back to school, their first day back for the big kids going to elementary school. And that is their daddy being silly because he is a stay-at-home dad and he was dancing to celebrate the return to school. So this is a new and exciting year for us. We have everybody in school all day long, Monday through Thursday, for the first time. So Daddy is going to have to find some projects to do during the day. He is definitely celebrating here. So I am going to take this photo over into the WordSwag app, and I cropped it down to a 3x4 size, and I am going to put on a little title that it is Daddy's Back to School Dance. And then right now it has the line breaks off, so I turn the line breaks on, and I am going to use the shout out font, and I'm going to use it one of my favorite ways. I love putting text on top of photos in WordSwag, but specifically if the color of the photo allows or the background of the photo allows, I like to make it look like I stamped it on there. And so I am going to change the color of this. I'm actually going to use white. And while I'm placing it, I'll leave it as solid white, and then I will go in and actually change the color to that speckly white. There's two different speckly whites, and that's what I'm going between right there. One has a black background and one is a transparent background. So I almost always use the transparent background unless it just doesn't show up. And so I'm going to go back into the Project Life app and pull that photo that I just saved into my camera roll from the WordSwag app. And I want to highlight this photo because it's just so silly and so fun and just a special memory for us, I guess. So I want to highlight this. I'm going to go into the Just Add Color overlays that are you have to purchase them through the Project Life app. And that's probably my most used overlay. It's totally worth it. Just to highlight photos, especially when I make the back to school photos or back to school pages, I almost always put that around a picture of each kid in a big, what would that be? Let's see, that would be 6x8 size. And I have some examples of those, I think, over on my Instagram page where I have the back to school. I don't think I have a video for those. So that right there, and one of the other pictures of all of the kids on the front porch is from the Collect app, and that is another one of my favorite apps. I don't worry about that low resolution ever popping up. Side note, I've never had a picture print blurry if it doesn't look blurry in the screen. But back to the Collect app. I love the Collect app. It helps me remember what happened. It's just one photo every day with a short caption so that I kind of can keep track of what we were doing in any particular week. So now I am going in and adding my journaling cards. These are some from the Let Go Story Kit, but I'm going to actually end up using everything from the August Story by the Months kit on this page. So the next card is actually a paper. That's a 6x8 paper from the August Story by the Month kit from Allie Edwards, and that's what I'm going to end up using. The thing that did happen this week is Adam did start a project at the urging of our youngest, Wesley. He wanted to start working on our living room that has had wallpaper for since we've moved in, and we are anxious to get that off the walls and get the room painted. So here's me going into the Collect app, and I am actually going to save a few more photos from the Collect app in different formats. So I usually either save them as a 3x4 or a 4x6. 3x4 portrait, 4x6 landscape. So I went in and I saved one as a 4x6 landscape so that I could pull that into that 4x6 pocket. And I am going to end up embellishing this with some of the chipboard from the August Story by the Month kit. Also, just a little bit ago, I changed that title card from black to red to match with the card, with the paper that I used. That is the Storytelling Basics Stories by the Year kit from Ali Edwards. And I keep that on my phone at all times for every year because it always goes with the monthly kits. And so I can sprinkle that in between and amongst those. So there I was taking some photos and putting them in a 4x6 journal card or in a 4x6 print with 4 pockets, and I wasn't really liking the way that it was looking, so I went into the Studio app and I'm bringing in the card These Moments, and I think that was also from the August Stories by the Month kit, and I am just going to add 3 photos onto this card in each one of those boxes, and I am going to put the date. And I kind of wanted it to be a progression of us stripping the wallpaper and painting because we went full-blown wallpaper painting over the weekend, but it didn't quite end up that way, and it's totally fine. So I took that first photo, sized it down to where I wanted, and then duplicated it into each of the 3 boxes, and then I'm going to go in and replace it with the other photos. So just looking through my favorites, these are the photos that I've already edited that I know that I most likely want to use, and I'm just going to pop that in there. So here I'm realizing that I didn't actually edit and favorite all of the photos that I wanted to include. So I'm going to show you just real quick how I do this. It is so easy. I used to use PicTapGo. I still do if I feel like I need more control in my editing, if a photo's just not turning out the way that I'd like it to. But I am just scrolling through my camera roll here. Those are the thousands of pictures that I have, and I'm going between these 2 photos. Which one do I like better? And I am going to just edit and then auto correct that down at the bottom, the little magic wand, and I'm going to favorite it so that it'll pop up in my favorites and pull that into the Studio app. There it is. And it is in landscape instead of portrait. The other ones were in portrait. I almost always take photos in landscape with my phone. I've done that for years because I've always wanted them to be able to fit into the 4x6 pockets in the Project Life app. I feel like I've kind of gone back and forth now because I'm doing a lot more 6x8 documenting, and it just lends itself to the portrait view instead. So I've started mixing it up a little bit more than I have in the past. So I try it again thinking that maybe it just glitched and it cropped it weird, but that was not the case. So I am going to have to adjust this. I'm going in and I'm moving that photo within the crop box. And sometimes I struggle with that because I sometimes can't get my fingers quite where I want to, and then I end up hitting the crop edge and changing the size or the shape of the crop. So I'm just laying it over that other photo to make sure that it's at least close. It doesn't have to be perfect. That would probably be easier to do if I scrapbooked on my iPad, but I don't. I almost always scrapbook on my iPhone. It's just what I have in my hand most of the time. It's what I have when I'm sitting at the doctor's office that I can just make a quick page while I'm waiting or at practice or whatever it is. So I love, love, love being able to scrapbook on my phone. I do it all the time, every day. So I'm going back into that card, and now I'm going to add, I was going back through my photos to see what the dates were on those photos. So I'm going to add the dates at the bottom. And like I said, I was kind of hoping that they would each be like one day in a row, and it ends up those second 2 are on the same day, and I almost thought maybe I'll just, tell a little white lie, but who cares? It's fine. Why am I stressing out about that? I don't know. I didn't. I ended up just leaving them as the same date. So I'm adding the date. I duplicated it, sized it, duplicated it, and now I'll change the date down there in the bottom. And so I'm going back over to my photos to see what was the date. And it was the 20th, as was the other photo. So I'm just going to change that to the 20th, and I didn't realize that at this point. Otherwise, I would have just duplicated it. That is Adam and our Papa Rudy in that photo, and we are just so blessed to have him help us with all of our painting projects. That's what he does, is paint really amazing homes, and we are super lucky to have him help us with our projects, even though Adam and I kind of joke and tease him that we would have never have done all of the steps that he says that we have to. But I know it turned out beautiful. I'm sitting in the living room right now looking at the paint, and it looks beautiful. So I'm going to pull that into, I've saved that to my camera roll from Studio, pull that into my Project Life app spread, and I was just playing with the positioning of those, kind of going back and forth, seeing where I wanted to put things. And now I'm going to go back to the Studio app, and I am going to, I believe, I'm going to work on the collect card next. So like I said earlier, I'm going to go in and add some embellishments, and I keep all of my digital scrapbooking kits in Dropbox. So this is me going into Dropbox from the Studio app. And basically what you do is you're going to click those three little dots and go more, I believe, in order to get to this, and then navigate through your phone to wherever your storage is that you have your scrapbook kits. I have had some requests on how I do that, so I plan on making a video about that specifically. There is one video that I have that I will try to link that is using non-native cards in the Project Life app, and it goes into a little bit of detail of how to do this. So I'm just looking through these embellishments and trying to decide which one I am going to use. So I'm just going to skip forward through this since it's a lot of me just clicking on folders. I end up adding 3 different embellishments onto that collect card and adding a drop shadow onto those. And I am just layering those until I like the way that looks. And I wanted to use the, I think those poppies? The little red flowers, so that way it would match the paper that I'm already planning on using for my journaling. So save that to my camera roll, pop it into the Project Life app, and now all we have left to do is the journaling on the 3x4 card, which was actually a 6x8 paper, and I'm going to do that in the Studio app. You can journal in the Project Life app with freeform font or freeform text. It is too cumbersome for me to use, so I rarely journal in the Project Life app. I am almost always taking it out to another app in order to journal, just because it will text wrap for me and I can format it, and I can go back and edit easily if I have a typo. I prefer Studio app or even Canva. I just have my favorite. I have my favorite fonts in Studio app, and I'm really familiar with it, so that's what I usually prefer to use. On this card, there is a blank square in the top, so I am going back through my Dropbox again to find an embellishment to put into that blank little area on the upper right-hand corner of the paper. I like that flower, however, I feel like I wanted more of like a text-based embellishment, so I'm going back into my folder and I end up putting the little remember chipboard piece and adding a drop shadow to that. And I like the way that looks. I like how it brings out the blue in the background. And then I am going to, once I get that drop shadow on there, I'm going to go in and add my journaling. I'm going to be using my favorite font, Remington Noiseless, and I did not actually film myself journaling, so we're going to jump to having the words magically appear on the page. I'm going to save that to my camera roll, bring it back into the Project Life app, and put it in the 3x4 pocket. And that is my page, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and don't forget to subscribe.